Hello and welcome to another deep dive with Depth of the Night and me, Abu Shabah. Tonight we're venturing into a Lebanese case that didn't involve a gun or physical confrontation, yet it wreaked havoc on multiple lives, demonstrating just how lethal a keyboard or smartphone can become. This is the story known as the Hadi Mitri cyberstalking case, an unsettling reminder that harm can be inflicted online as surely as in person. Now, imagine the scene. Individuals, primarily young women, living their normal routines, studying, socializing, building an online presence to keep in touch with friends. One day they start receiving unusual messages from unknown usernames, possibly friendly at first, but soon shifting into something more alarming. The tone of these messages quickly escalates, with the sender hinting at private images or personal information they supposedly have in their possession. Then comes an ultimatum. Respond to my demands, or I'll post your photos everywhere. Some recipients panic, not knowing if these threats are real or if the sender is simply bluffing. But the truth, as it emerged, was that someone calling himself Hadi Mitri had allegedly managed to infiltrate personal accounts or gather enough data to manipulate victims. Between 2015 and 2016, according to rumors and partial press coverage, this pattern repeated itself multiple times. People began whispering about a figure with surprising tech expertise, who could hack or guess passwords, who thrived on intimidation. Some quietly blocked or tried to ignore the harassment, hoping it would go away. Others, more distressed, confided in close friends or relatives. In that moment, the seeds of a major case were planted. One victim, realizing the danger, stepped forward and contacted Lebanon's cybercrime unit under the Internal Security Forces, ISF. They recounted the menacing emails or app messages, the intrusive details the sender seemed to have, and the relentless nature of the threats. At first, investigators found themselves piecing together fragments, anonymous accounts, IP addresses that changed or appeared rerouted through different networks, and text messages that vanished seconds after being read. But in time, the cybercrime unit discovered a pattern in the harassing behavior, a consistent style of speech or type of threat. This allowed them to narrow down their suspects. The turning point, as some sources recounted, occurred when one of the targeted individuals agreed to maintain limited contact with the suspect to gather digital breadcrumbs, all while the ISF documented every message in real time. In doing so, they uncovered repeated references to personal details, like the victim's daily routine or undisclosed photos that only someone deeply breaching her privacy could possess. Finally, after weeks of building a covert operation, authorities honed in on an address and a device identified through the suspect's online footprint. They staged a calculated approach, capturing data packets, identifying unique device codes, and confirming that the same accounts used for threats were still active from that location. The day of the actual arrest was said to be tense. The suspect allegedly had multiple SIM cards and backup phones, anticipating a potential move by law enforcement. Nonetheless, the ISF executed their plan, and the suspect, named in local stories as Hadi Mitri, was taken into custody. Early forensic checks on his devices reportedly revealed direct evidence. Archived images of victims, chat histories where intimidation soared to chilling extents, and notes about potential new targets. As the case made its way through the judicial system, more victims surfaced, their stories echoing a similar pattern. Intrusive messages, threats to leak sensitive information, and an insistence on certain demands being met. In court, an array of digital evidence became key: screenshots, IP logs, phone statements, and testimonies from ISF cyber analysts. The judge, referencing Lebanon's legislation on electronic crimes and harassment, underscored how individuals misusing technology can leave digital fingerprints, no matter how adept they think they are at covering their tracks. Throughout Lebanon, public debate flared up about the importance of safeguarding personal data. Families with younger members online insisted on more caution, while NGOs used the incident to call for updated legislation targeting cyber harassment. Media outlets interviewed some of the victims, albeit with their identities concealed, who described the psychological toll that constant threats can have, saying it was at times as terrifying as physical violence. Finally, the court issued a judgment that delivered a prison sentence for cyberstalking and intimidation, sending a message that such acts wouldn't simply slip through the cracks. While details on the length of sentencing remained somewhat varied in public reporting, the core outcome was that the perpetrator faced accountability. Yet the broader lesson had already struck home. In an era where devices connect us all, misuse of technology can become a weapon wielded by those who know how to exploit vulnerabilities. The name Hadi Mitri became a cautionary example in Lebanese conversations about online harassment. Phew! And that's where we wrap tonight's episode of Depth of the Night with me, Abu Shabah. The Hadi Mitri cyberstalking case underscores that not all threats come with a face-to-face confrontation. Some can strike from behind a screen, dissolving boundaries and leaving victims feeling isolated. But remember, no matter how tech-savvy an individual might be, cooperation between determined victims and diligent authorities can pierce that veil of anonymity. Let this stand as a warning. Guard your private information, call out suspicious behavior, and never hesitate to seek help if you feel cornered online. May we all move forward knowing that digital harassment is neither trivial nor unstoppable. And now, as I sign off, I leave you with my customary words. May you awaken with awareness, not just well.